1 in 3. That's how many American men will face physical violence, sexual assault, or stalking by an intimate partner. 1 in 3 women worldwide will endure physical or sexual abuse, most often by someone they know. But domestic abuse isn't just bruises. It's manipulation, it's fear, it's control that seeps into every part of your life. I'm Ingrid Dutton, and I survived it. Then I created 1 in 3 so no one else has to suffer in silence. Each week, we break that silence together. Occasionally joined by survivors, loved ones, and experts, we talk about the pain, yes, but also about the healing, resilience, and the fight to reclaim your life. This podcast is more than awareness, it's a lifeline. And a reminder, you are seen, you are heard, you are never alone. Search for 1 in 3 wherever you get your podcasts, because every voice matters and every story deserves to be heard.
Memorial Day honors service members who died in service to their country or as a result of injuries incurred during battle. Deceased veterans are also remembered on Veterans Day, but the day is set aside to thank and honor living veterans who served honorably in the military in wartime or peacetime. Good morning, sister. I do want the reason for that intro is because people confuse Memorial Day and Veterans Day, so I wanted to let people know,
Clarify things. Mm-hmm. Yes. When is Veterans Day this year?
Veterans Day, that's something I'm actually going to cover, but Veterans Day is the same day every year.
But I mean, what day is it this week?
The date? Oh, it's Thursday.
The day.
No, I just lied. It's Friday. I don't know my dates very well.
I don't trust anything you say.
Now I need to double check. I'm not even sure. Yeah, it's Friday.
I thought it was. Is it?
It's Friday because I'm off Friday because it's a federal holiday. People, I don't know if you saw, but I was able to participate in a Veterans Day.
Yes. That looks really cool. What?
I don't know. You gave me a look like, why are you talking about this right now?
No, I was distracted, and then I decided I should probably actually make I know how you are when you don't get verbal or physical affirmations to things you say.
I don't like not being listened to. It's one of my pet peeves. That's why I can never have another
What
child.
else am I listening? I have nothing else to listen to. You're in my head.
And yet you still don't listen sometimes.
It's true. Okay, I'm going to mute myself while you carry on with the things you're going to say.
Oh, no, I'm not getting into that bit yet. So, well, today we're talking about, should we tell people what we're talking about? I thought we're going to go over Veterans Day, the history of it, and then talk about military families. But I wanted to talk to you about this event I went to. So I went there as we do outreach events for my job. And that was one of the events that I got to go to. And it was so cool, you guys. I got to go up into a B-25, which are the planes that were part of Doolittle's raid in World War II. You remember seeing that? Like they actually have a part, if you've ever watched Pearl Harbor, if you grew up if you're mine or Ingrid's age, I'm sure you watched Pearl Harbor quite a few times with Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett. And they actually have a part, and I think Doolittle was played by Alec Baldwin in the movie. Do you remember, Ingrid? I think it was Alec Baldwin. It was so cool. And like the gunner seat in the back, it's amazing. It's just amazing how they sat back there and were able to do anything. Like it was just, and it's grown men. And I asked if I could go back there. Oh my gosh. So the guy, it's not active duty flying it now, but the guy's like, well, when we're on the ground, the center of gravity is like off. So we can't have too much weight go back in the tail. I was like, did you just call me fat unintentionally? Like, what?
Did you ask him that?
I did. And he's like, the look on his face. I was joking around with him, but look on his face was like, did I? I'm like, I'm just kidding, man. I'm not going to go back there. Yeah, it was really cool seeing all the planes, and we got to see them take off and land. And it was a really cool thing. And I got to meet a bunch of veterans, obviously, but two of them were in the Marine Corps back in Vietnam, and they were just awesome. They were awesome gentlemen. So they actually have a program. Okay, the program is called North Texas Wreaths of Honor, and they put wreaths on the graves of veterans. And they actually are doing a ceremony on December 17th, 2022. And if you want to visit their website,
that is Jessica's birthday. That's why she was really excited about it being December 17th.
Mm-hmm. So you can go to their website, www.wreathsacrossAmerica.org/TX0706P. If you want to get some more info, they are accepting donations, and they actually told me that they're a little behind this year because of health reasons. Like I said, they're Vietnam veterans, so they haven't been able to get around as much this year. So you can also text to donate. You can text wreath to. If you don't know how to spell wreath, I will spell it for you. WREATH and the number 2. You text that to 20222. So if you need to feel good about yourself and do something nice, put some wreaths on some veterans at the Dallas-Fort Worth National Cemetery.
And then tell us about it so we can talk about it on our niceness episode.
Oh yeah, and I'll put a picture of their card that they give out, which has their website, and we'll put it on our Instagram so you guys can see it too.
And then we'll put the links on our show notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the history of Veterans Day, which I got my information from military.com and va.gov. World War I was called the War to End All Wars. It officially ended with the Treaty of Versailles on June 28, 1919. But fighting continued on until an armistice, or an agreement to stop fighting, between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. In November 1919, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th as a commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nation." The original concept for the celebration was for a day observed with parades and public meetings and a brief suspension of business beginning at 11 a.m. In 1938, an act was approved to make November 11th a legal holiday. Well, what happened after that? World War II and the Korean War. Yeah, and I'll just answer it for you. World War II required the greatest mobilization of soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen in our nation's history at that time, and American forces had to fight aggression in Korea. So in 1954, it was changed to Veterans Day to honor all veterans of all wars. It was officially signed into legislation on June 1st, 1954. In 1968, the Uniform Holiday Monday Act, which I had no idea this thing even existed. It's crazy. It allowed for federal employees to have 3-day weekends by celebrating the following holidays. Like they made an act to make sure federal employees could have 3-day holidays. Anyways, President's Day, but back then it was called Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day, which is now called Indigenous People Day. Because of this act, Veterans Day was moved from the fourth Monday of October. It was moved from November 11th to the fourth Monday of October. And it was actually October 25th, 1971. Most states didn't agree, and they continued to celebrate it on November 11th. I just wrote the numbers. I don't know why I didn't write it out. September 20th, 1975, President Ford signed a law moving Veterans Day back to November 11th, starting in 1978, and there it has stayed. The restoration of the observance of Veterans Day to November 11th not only preserves the historical significance of the date, but it helps focus attention on the important purpose of Veterans Day, a celebration to honor Americans' veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. So here are some fun facts about Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day without an apostrophe, not Veterans Day with an apostrophe, for a good reason. The lack of the apostrophe might seem like a semantic choice, but it has a definite and deliberate meaning. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, Veterans Day is not a day that belongs to veterans. It is a day honoring veterans directly in front of us right now. So veterans don't own this day, kind of thing. Another fun fact. So the Marine Corps celebrates their birthday and Veterans Day with a 96-hour liberty. Because when's the Marine Corps birthday? November 10th. So that event is generally celebrated with a traditional ball and a cake cutting ceremony. Since the special day falls the day before Veterans Day, many Marines celebrate both holidays together with a 96-hour liberty period. Libchit.
Do you want to explain what that is?
A 96-hour liberty period means that you get those 4 days off. That's pretty much what it means. You have the liberty and the freedom to do as you please, within reason, because you're still in the military. After World War II started and people realized World War I didn't end the idea of world wars, a group of Americans called the American Bible Society, and it was led by Francis Carr Stifler, American Pie, said, not that guy, just kidding, said Armistice Day should be called Mayflower Day because the signing of the Mayflower Compact happened on November 11th, 1620, which is crazy. They thought the name was more appropriate because the Mayflower Compact led to the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. This idea did not catch on. That is the history of Veterans Day. So on Veterans Day, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Some veterans get irritated when you say thank you for your service. It's so weird. But if you are randomly in public and you tell a veteran, you can see their hats or you can see something, tell them thank you for their service. We'll also share a link to any of our veterans listening. There are a bunch of free meals. You get free meals, free haircuts, discounts on Veterans Day. And most schools actually do not have school, like have the day off. Most schools don't have the day off. So it's pretty exciting because as a federal employee, I get the day off and my kids have to go to school.
That's like the true day off.
It is. It is. As a veteran, I will 100% appreciate that day. And I might get a free meal over at Chili's because I am a big fan of Chili's. So yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Ingrid has gone on many Veterans Day meals with me. California Pizza Kitchen, I think we went on one.
That's right.
We did. And then did you come with me to Chili's? I think I went by myself that time. I don't think. Yeah.
You went by yourself because I'm not as big of a fan of Chili's as you are.
Southwestern egg rolls are so good. But it's a set meal that you have to choose from. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there and to all you civilian folk. Hug a veteran. No, don't hug a veteran. Tell them happy Veterans
Don't
Day.
touch them.
Don't touch them. do not touch strangers.
Oh, God. Bad advice, Jess.
I know. Oh, goodness.
Well, happy Veterans Day to you, Jessica.
Oh, thank you. And to all of our relatives and good grief, everybody I know.
I mean, you've worked at the VA, so that will get you a lot of veterans.
With the employees. I didn't Facebook friend patients.
Right. Because you are professional.
Not on the podcast, but at my job. So we're also covering in November. We're just going to roll with theme here, folks. So November is also Military Families Month. And I got all this information. And I'll go, yes, you look like you have a question.
Well, no, we forgot to introduce ourselves at the beginning. So why not do it right here in the middle where it makes no sense?
Sure. I'm Jessica.
That's Jessica telling the stories today.
That's Ingrid providing affirmative and supportive listening.
both verbally and physically.
Oh goodness.
And this is our podcast, another situation that you've gotten yourself into without even knowing what you were doing.
We give bad advice, questionable historical documentation, and I think I gave out weather advice last week.
You did. You called yourself we also are grammatically incorrect half the
All
time.
the time.
And
We mispronounce things.
even when it's our English first language, we still pronounce.
What were you about to say?
It? No, I was trying to think I think you were trying to say synonyms.
Yes. You don't need to bring up old stuff now.
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing.
No.
So anyway.
Speaking of weather, though, I do want to say heartfelt condolences to all the people in North Texas and Oklahoma that have been impacted by the tornadoes that came through on Friday. It's devastating seeing some of this stuff, and it's pretty close to where I live. We had me and my family, my family without me, I was at work. They had to hide in the closet, and then by the time I got home, I had to hide in the closet with them a second time for the tornado warning. So it was pretty close to us. And so prayers and thinking of all those people.
Yes, absolutely. Were your dogs in the closet with you?
Not the first time, because my husband took the kids in the closet and didn't care about the dogs. But the second time when I was home, yes, my dogs came in with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My daughter told on him. I was like, hey, Livy, were the dogs in here last time? She's like, no, Daddy didn't bring them.
Bobby was like, here's my chance.
Bye, Reggie. Bye.
We can't pass up this opportunity. Reggie's so chunky, he wouldn't blow away anywhere.
No. See, I would anchor onto him. I would just hold on to him and we wouldn't move. That's my little chunkster pug. All right. So now that you know who we are
and what you're listening to,
because who just listens to random stuff. All right. Military Family Month. I got my info from defense.gov. nctsn.org, which is a really weird place to get information from, but it was the National Child Traumatic Stress Network. All right. And militaryfamily.org. And I also got info from military.com. So how did it start? 50 years ago, a group of military spouses gathered around a kitchen table determined to make their widowed friends whose spouses died in war weren't forgotten. They marched to the Capitol telling their stories, and the National Military Family Association was born. November is Military Family Appreciation Month, a time when America honors and recognizes those unique sacrifices and challenges family members make in support of their loved ones in uniform. No matter what rank or branch, or where life has taken them, our nation's military families share the common threads of service and sacrifice. National Family Military Appreciation Month celebrates military families each day. Just delete that. I didn't finish the sentence. There's nothing else. It says through and then nothing.
I'm not deleting that.
Oh my goodness. What was I doing? It's just an empty sentence. Good grief. Okay. November was first declared as Military Family Month in 1996. Since then, November has been a time to acknowledge the tremendous sacrifices our military families make. They contend with separation from their families and make adjustments to new living situations and communities. Military families embody strength, our fighting force, and strengthens the health, security, and safety of our nation's families and communities. Military.com, like all these websites, just wanted to give a shout out to military families. So military.com said, Military Family Appreciation Month is a time set aside to recognize you, the military family. Military families know what it means to serve. Every day you get up and support your service member, standing by during long trainings and deployments. You know the risks, but you accept this life of service anyway. You know service is an honor. You are the backbone of our military. You are the quiet, but oh my gosh, I might tear up. What is going on? You're the quiet but steady fuel at home that keeps the fire burning. You keep track of military pay, benefits, and news because you know they make a daily difference in your life. And when your time as actively serving family comes to an end, you support your veteran. Serving is just what you do. All right. So traditionally, the president signs a proclamation recognizing the service that the families do and declaring November as a military family month. Over the month, families are honored and recognized for their commitment and contributions in support of our military and nation. So I think it was the deputy. Oh, I didn't say who wrote this. This is from defense.gov. I think it's the someone from the DOD said this. I want to say it's like the deputy secretary of the Department of Defense. It wasn't the secretary of the DOD. Someone said this quote. Oh, no, I did write it. Oh my gosh.
And this is the example of the professionalism that Jessica does lack during this podcast.
Oh, okay. Wow. Move past this. This is a quote. To the nearly 5.2 million service members and families, we celebrate and thank you for the support you give to our nation each day. November is a time to honor our families, but it is also critical to acknowledge the everyday challenges you face. Said, sorry, Patricia.
What are you doing?
I'm just laughing that her name and title is like right there. Okay. Patricia Montez Barron, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Defense for Military, Community, and Family Policy. No, she's not the deputy of the DOD. Not even close.
Just make stuff up.
I did. I totally made stuff up. So there's an initiative that the government has come up with. It's called Taking Care of Our Service Members and Family. And the idea is to strengthen the economic security and stability of service members and their families. So in case we do have any military families, I'm just going to say a couple of the benefits. So there's going to be a review it's called BAH. It's Basic Allowance for Housing. So the military, when you move somewhere, like you get a base pay. Every rank gets a base pay. Like every E1 makes the same thing. Like that. And every rank, O1s all make the same base pay. But depending on where you live, your basic allowance for housing will vary. So when we lived on an island in Washington, the BAH was different than down here in Texas. So they try to take into the cost of living of the area. But sometimes it can take a really long time to update it. So these families are trying to live on outdated numbers, and the basic pay for military members. I will say as an E3, I qualified for low income housing because I only had base pay. I didn't have basic allowance for housing, and I lived in low income housing as a E3. So you don't make very much money. Or no, I think I was an E4. I just picked up E4, and I think E4 pay was like $2 over that low income housing threshold. So they're going to review the BAH rates to make sure they're accurate for the housing market. There's an automatic increase in the basic allowance for housing in 28 military housing areas that had an average of more than 20% increase in rental costs. And it's in a variety of states and locations. Only one place in Texas. Florida actually had a lot. Orlando was even on the list. So they must have had a huge 20% increase in rental costs over in Orlando. They are going to fully fund the commissaries, which are the grocery stores on the military bases, to reduce prices. So shopping in a commissary should be a 25% savings from a local grocery store, which is huge. And then they're going to start paying eligible service members a basic needs allowance. And that's based on income and dependence. So I'm not totally sure what that is. And I think it's only for E1 through E6. And that's going to start next year. And then there's going to be a 4.6% pay raise in 2023. So their base pay, everyone's base pay is going to go up. To make PCS moves easier, which are permanent change of station. So anytime a military member gets transferred from one side of the country to another, to make those moves easier, they're going to increase money and coverage from, it used to be 10 to 14 days for moving around in the United States, what they call CONUS, which is can't remember what CONUS. It's CONUS, and then OCONUS is overseas. They moved it from 10 to 14 days, where now people can get up to 60 days if there's a housing shortage where they're moving to. They have put improvements to Military One Source, which Military One Source offers a lot of like resources and services to service members and their families. They invested in CDCs, which are the daycares that my kids used to go to. So, and they also, to increase people coming to work for the CDCs, they're giving a minimum 50% discount for daycare for the first child of the workers. And they're trying to improve access to childcare programs and resources. The CDCs, the daycares have extended their hours, and they've also contracted with local daycares as well to try to get coverage for those families that need it, like the midnight shift or whatever it is. Employment for spouses. They have developed 7 occupational licensure interstate compacts. They have not done that for social workers, though. So if you are a social worker and you want to be licensed, unless you work for the federal government, you have to get a license in every state you move to. But states have actually done, like Texas, I think they made it super easy for me to apply for my LCSW here. I had to, and I think they waive the costs. And they also provide, if your state doesn't waive the costs, they'll give, I think the DOD gives you like $250 to apply for your license. They are increasing the use of non-competitive direct hiring for military spouses in the Department of Defense, and they are trying to expand remote work and telework options. So a spouse can get a job and then keep it if they have to move, So that's cool. There's a new career accelerator pilot initiative that will match spouses with paid private sector fellowships. And they're going to increase the number of partners in the military spouse employment partnership by 10%. I don't quite know what that is. So that's some things that the DOD is trying to do to help support families. That's the new initiative that they came out with. But there are, talking about those initiatives, there are a lot of problems that military families face. And we did have a couple families lined up. I had a friend, her husband is in the Army Reserves, and she was going to come and talk, but there's some stuff happened and we just weren't able to work it out. But so being a reservist, like they've had the opportunity to move around. They've moved in Texas from Houston to Dallas. They moved to Tennessee for a little bit. And with reservists, it's a little different. Like that's a 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out of the year, but you can get mobilized and have to deploy still. So who he's assigned to, they're actually on deployment right now, but he couldn't go for medical reasons, I believe. So he missed out on this deployment. But when they come back home from deployment, they come back home to their families. They don't come back home with the people that they deployed with. Like they don't have the support of their unit with them. They come back to civilian life and civilian world. And, so reservists and National Guardsmen actually have it, I think, a little bit harder than active duty does, because they come back. Active duty comes back with the people they went with, and they still work with them. They have that support, but the reservists, they come back to just families. And so families have to try to learn how to support their service member. Obviously I am part of a military family. So is Ingrid. So our dad was in the Navy and he got out. Do you want to tell the story why Dad got out of the Navy?
I think you probably need to correct it, because the only thing I remember is he had come home for Christmas and he was hiding behind the Christmas tree and he jumped out at me and I freaked out and went screaming and crying because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, that's what he told me. That's why he got out.
And the other thing that was kind of funny is Mom apparently took me to the ship to go see Dad. And every sailor that walked by, I was like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. So it made Mom look like not a very faithful wife.
Every sailor is my daddy. So our dad, supposedly we have had a family member in every war like that America has participated in. So we come from a very strong military family. Our grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and then our aunts and uncles, we had Navy, Army, Marine Corps, Coast Guard. We didn't have Air Force.
Maybe some of Grandpa's brothers. Maybe one of them. Hey fam, correct us on this.
So I didn't want to talk about my family the whole time, so I asked our dad what it was like for him. And so he said, I was like, what was it like being a parent, child, spouse, or sibling of a military member? And he said, you have an empty feeling in your stomach until they ETD, which is separate, younger sibling or parent. As a child, you felt like you were in the military. And so I asked him what that meant. And he said, there were a lot of family members, cousin, uncles who were in the military during war. You had short hair, you had to stand in line, doing what you were told was commonplace. We always played Army. And actually, our dad taught us how to play Army. We would low crawl through our living room trying to go undetected.
Which is super creepy. Because we would do it when they were watching a movie at night.
We would, because we'd want to see what movie they were watching and be undetected. Like that was our main goal, was to get in and get out undetected. So then he also said they had adults teaching us things like attention and saluting, etc., shooting and knife throwing. And then he said, you guys are daughters of the American Revolution. Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges that military families make. One of the biggest things I think for us that happened, we've moved from Florida to Washington State to Texas. And the moving around has been difficult. Luckily, my job is transferable a little bit. The hardest part were the deployments. My husband missed almost the last 5 months of my pregnancy with our first daughter. And he was on deployment when she was born. And so that was really, 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 really difficult. Luckily, our mom is super supportive and was able to come and be with me and be in the room with me when it happened, when my daughter was born. One thing I do like is that you find family wherever you go. So I have found family members, not through blood, that I can depend on and rely on when you're so far away from your actual family. So that was probably the hardest, was that he missed the birth of our firstborn. And he missed again he was on deployment when I was pregnant with our second child, my son. But I think he made it home like a week before he was born. It was really stinking close. And again, luckily, like my mom came out and helped support, our mom came out and helped support me and like helped me with, when I started getting too big and it was hard to take care of my daughter because she was one, like, had a lot of needs, and it was, it's challenging. It definitely. And then probably my least favorite deployment, he left in, I can't remember what it was, during COVID. He deployed during COVID, in 2020. And that was so hard because I was between daycare situations and working still. And it was a very, very difficult time. And then of course that time I didn't have the support of my mom because I didn't want her flying and getting exposed to COVID. So it was I relied on my family I had in Washington, which was friends that I had made up there. So it's just, you go through, and then your marriage goes through different things. Like there's a cycle of deployment of where, anticipating someone leaving. And it's kind of like, I hate that feeling actually. Like I would just rather them go than anticipate and sit there and wait like the week before. Just leave. I just want to rip the Band-Aid off and move on. And then, about midway point, like you get adjusted and you get used to living without that person not being in your house. And so you kind of take over. And then when you get back, and then you get the fun feelings of, oh, yay, they're coming back. It's going to be so great. And then they're home for a year or 6 months or whatever it is. And then you do that cycle of deployment again. Well, where we are now, we don't have that cycle of deployment. So like the highs and the lows really have an impact on your marriage. So when you don't have those highs and lows and you have a year together where, no one's leaving, no one's going anywhere. Like you don't have that, oh, I'm so excited you're back home. Like that, oh, I love you, I miss you. And then it makes it's a different dynamic in a relationship for sure.
I never even would have considered that being an issue. That makes sense, though.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely different.
Well, I have a military story.
Please tell.
Okay. So I took Jessica to the location where she was picked
Oh
up
my
to go
gosh.
to boot camp. And it was awful because obviously Jessica and I are close. And
Yes.
I think we were living together at the time, right?
Yeah, we were.
And so anyway, she decided to join the Navy. And I dropped her off at this location and I drove away, and it was the worst because she was just this teeny tiny little, what were you, 20 something?
I was 23.
Yeah. But she, in my head, Jessica's always like a teenager or preteen. Maybe because she acts like it. But anyway, just driving away to see little tiny alone Jessica, it was awful. And then in boot camp, you
Ugh.
couldn't talk to us.
Yeah. So I didn't realize, like, I didn't write down anyone's phone number when we got to make phone calls. And then I realized the only phone number I had memorized was Ingrid's. And so I tried, and our home, felt like our mother's home phone number. And so I tried calling Ingrid so many times, and like, she didn't answer. I didn't have her cell phone number memorized yet. I think it was just her home phone number that I memorized. And so I left a message of like, guys, oh, it was horrible. And like, I cried. I didn't get a hold of anyone on my first phone call from boot camp. I didn't get to talk to anyone. And all I wanted was, I just wanted to hear a friendly voice. I was so miserable.
I remember that. And I got the message and I kept crying. I was like, I can't believe I didn't answer. I wasn't there.
I think you guys were at the grocery store or something.
Yeah, it was. It was something like that. One of the funny things I remember is when you had your boot camp graduation, I asked you what you wanted, and you wanted a king-size Snickers bar. It was so random. So I bought it for you. And at the time, I had a Yorkie named Kennedy. And I bought it, and I had like the stuff that I was bringing up to Chicago sitting on my kitchen table. And Kennedy would have like free range of the house when I was at work or whatever. And I came home from work, and that bag was on the floor, and the Snickers wrapper was laying there perfectly opened and perfectly cleaned, not a drop of chocolate anywhere. And Kennedy was doing like zoomies around my living room table. I was like, oh my God, you ate her candy bar.
I love Kennedy. That's fine. You can have it.
I think I got you another one.
I think you did too. Yeah.
And don't worry, I did call the vet. I asked what to do, and they said he's probably fine if he's not vomiting and having diarrhea everywhere, and that he'll just be super hyper, which he was.
Yeah.
Super hyper. Gosh,
Kennedy.
that was the worst dog ever. Worst and best.
One of my favorite memories from when Bobby was on deployment was Luke was, I can't remember. He wasn't quite one yet. he for some reason he took his diaper off, and so I was taking a video of us, me and my kids, in our living room back at our house in Washington. And I was like, and in the video I'm like, Luke, where's your diaper? Go put your diaper back on. And then I pan over, and it was literally 2 seconds, and I was like, oh, you pooped on the couch. There's just like 3 little turds hanging out on the couch. Like, why would you do that? Like, what?
I remember that video.
That was so, and then like there's supposedly this curse of like anytime I can't, it's like, I think it's called a deployment curse, that everything and anything can go wrong as soon as someone leaves on deployment. Like everything breaks, nothing works. And I think the truck started, one of our vehicles started.
Didn't you have like a mouse or something?
Yes. We had mice in both of our vehicles. And yeah, it was just crazy. And then our washing machine one time.
When you lost power, remember? Oh,
yeah. We lost power a couple times out there. It was, yeah. But it's fun. Like me and my kids, we had a fireplace. We had a little, fire stove in our house. And so we made food on whatever it's called. Why can't I think of what it's called?
I remember talking to you and you're like, yeah, we're no power. And I think there's like garbage. It was like a big windstorm or something. There were garbage cans that were like down the street or something. I remember just talking to you. I'm like, she's freaking badass. Like, because she's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, I probably would be balled up in the fetal position crying. Like, I don't know what to do.
It was I had to make it fun for my kids. That was the most important part, so they didn't freak out. So we pretended we were camping and had food, and then they all slept in my room with me. So it worked out okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. If you guys want to share any of your military situations, or if you want to share anything like that, feel free to write in.
You know, I should have reached out to, I'm not going to say her name because I didn't reach out to her to ask her about anything, but a girl I went to high school with, her daughter just went into the military, and it would have been nice to get, her perspective of, you know, a mom with her little girl. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is her little girl. She's old enough to be in the military, but she's still her little girl.
Right.
Happy Veterans Day to our uncle who shared some of his stories on episode number 14 when we talked about the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm the only one out of our group of generation that joined the military, and Josh is the only one out of his generation of our family that joined the military.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
I am. So happy Veterans Day, Josh.
Yes. Well, he's not a veteran. He's still in.
No, he's out. He got out.
So I just wanted to give an update quick while we're closing up. Chrissy, who was on episode number 42, Brooklyn the Brave. If you haven't listened to that episode, listen to it. She told her story so well. And it's actually it's a good story. Despite, you know, her daughter was diagnosed with cancer, but it's a good story. But I wanted to give an update. She is leaving for her mission trip to the Dominican in a little under 2 weeks. It'll be like 1 week when this kind of releases. So if you're in the Chattanooga area and you have any baseball gear that you would like to donate for her to take, they're bringing it for kids, teenagers. They want to just bring some of that and leave it there. And also, same person, Chrissy, was just told that she is a suitable donor officially for Jamie.
Really?
And
that is so awesome.
Jamie was on episode number 16, I Love You With All My Kidney, needing a kidney transplant. And Chrissy is a suitable match. So I believe they will be getting that surgery scheduled probably, I think, next in early 2023. So congratulations to both of them, and just, you know, very excited and very happy for them. And I guess we should do our B's.
I do want to say one last congratulations, not to anyone in particular, but the Houston Astros won the World Series last night. So
okay, congratulations.
Congratulations to the Houston Astros. Their manager, he is a story of resilience. He is 73 years old. He's the oldest manager to ever win a World Series. He was also the guy, he had been a manager for like the most years without ever getting one. So 73 years old, and he finally got his World Series.
That's awesome.
Right? And like, this guy played with Hank Aaron. Like, he's been, and
that's crazy.
It's so cool. Like, this man is his name is Dusty Poop. I can't remember his last name. No. But so I just like, he's like the epitome of resilience and like never giving up on your dream, you know?
Oh, that's awesome.
Just so cool.
Well, congratulations to them.
Yeah, we can do
congratulations to the Florida Gators for actually winning a game. Yay. Congratulations to the Tennessee Vols. You lost, but I mean,
Georgia
look at that freaking record, though. I mean, Tennessee never wins, and this is a good season. So I'm not a Tennessee fan. I'm a Gators fan, but congratulations on I can't congratulate the dogs because I don't like them. Even though we were born there.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Okay. Bees.
Be a veteran.
No.
Check.
I can't. That's not fair. I can't.
I know. I'll try to think of a different one.
I'm too old. So they won't take me.
Well, that's not true. Actually, you can get a waiver in the medical field sometimes.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't want it.
Okay. I mean, don't use age as a reason why you can't. How about be supportive? I think we say that almost all the time.
You always say that. I was going to write it down and I thought, no, we need to not. It's really annoying. We need to not be supportive.
Be unsupportive. Oh, okay. I got one. Be resilient.
Okay.
Be resilient like Dusty.
Be grateful for your family, your non-family, our veterans, our military personnel who's still in. Be grateful for everybody. Be grateful for king-size Snickers bars.
Oh, goodness. So grateful. So incredibly. Be open to others. I don't know where I'm going along with this.
Okay. You think I'm going to say be commemorative.
Like a coin?
Yes. And be collected. Be a collector's item.
I like that.
Be a limited time, limited edition collector's item.
Okay. I don't like be open, like to people in public, like one of the first deployments, I cried in a grocery store looking at Hawaiian sweet rolls because for some reason they reminded me of my husband, and I was crying in a grocery store. So I'm sure if someone probably saw me and was like, she's crazy. So be open to
be understanding, empathetic.
Yeah. Be empathetic. Be empathetic.
Be a Hawaiian roll.
Be aware of your other human being, like the veteran, you might see, typically it's the older veterans that wear the hats, celebrating. Yeah. So I don't know. Be recognizable. Recognize them. Oh, yep.
These are our best. Be a recognizable commemorative thing.
Empathetic, not supportive.
Please don't be supportive.
But be resilient in your unsupported.
My God. This is some quality advice we're giving you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Solid. Very solid. Yeah.
I think we need to end it.
I do too. Thank you guys for listening.
Bye.
Bye. If you would like to reach out to us or submit your situation, please contact us at anothersituationpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at Another Situation Podcast. We're also on Facebook at Another Situation.
Another Situation is produced and edited by Point 5 Pinoy. Music is written and performed by Tim Crow.